There we go. You are live. You are live. Welcome, everyone in the Single Moms Club and people on YouTube on the Single Moms Level Up channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the replays. I'm going to give everybody a moment to get in while I check to make sure that you guys can hear me. And I checked that on the Facebook group because that's easier than oh that's easier than I'm using my left hand, so I touched something I didn't mean to touch. Okay. So I just want to make sure that I can hear you. In the Single Moms Club and people on. Okay. So on this, welcome again. You are here in the right place. You're here if you're here for the Single Moms Prayer Challenge. So today is day 4. Today's day 4, and day 4 of the Single Moms Prayer Challenge. It should be notifying people, letting everybody know that we're live. Today we're going to be talking about the 4th thing in prayer that single moms need to pray about. So we're going to talk about that. Hey, Shanette, thank you so much for watching live. I also want to ask, anybody that comes on, you can share this. You can invite people to watch this with you. So if you have friends or other single moms that that could probably benefit from the conversation we're having here, and what we're talking about, what this challenge is all about, feel free to go ahead and invite them. You could do that on YouTube as well. You could share and and that's we'll get that out to people. And we're going to go ahead and just get right into the subject for today. So the subject for today, what we're going to talk about is going to be the relationship part of prayer. So we're going to talk about the relationship. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. So we're going to talk about the relationship part of prayer, and that's going to be our topic for today. By the way, I did not tell you who I was, even though my name's right here. But my name is Bess Parks. I'm the single mom of 2. I have a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old. And I just, am the co-host of this group of the Single Moms Club and Single Moms Level Up on YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram, where a lot of the communication happens in Instagram or on Instagram. In between the challenges, things of encouraging thoughts, some things to think about, questions, encouraging things. A lot of that happens. I'm sorry, I ate something really fast before I got on and it's making me burp. I apologize. But anyway, so a lot of posting and encouragement and all that goes on Instagram. There is also a Facebook page for Single Moms Level Up. Thank you, Abby, so much for watching live. And thank you to everybody watching on YouTube as well. So we're starting to stream through YouTube on the YouTube channel that has been kind of dormant, kind of asleep, for a little while. You got to learn the new technology and stuff. I wasn't too technologically savvy on stuff until about 2020. Then I started getting into Facebook and things. But anyway, let's talk about our topic. So the topic is the relationship part of prayer. So we have a lot of relationships as people, but as single moms, we have one of the most important relationships, and that's our relationship. We're talking about relationships outside of ourselves now. So the most important relationship and the most important connection that we have is with our children. So as they go through their different stages, we do need to adjust how we relate to our children. I know it sounds like common sense, but sometimes we get so caught up in a routine of things that we don't notice that, hey, our relationship has changed because they've reached a different stage in their life. And everybody goes through these stages. It's the process of life. And the thing that we need to do for our children is remember when we were that age, remember when you were in elementary school and how the feelings that you had, things that went on, things that were said, so that when your children come to you with these things, you have an understanding of what's going on, and you meet them where they are. Meet them where they are, and at whatever age they are, you bring yourself down to that. You bring yourself back to that memory, and then realize what that is, and then come to basically talk to yourself, because everybody always says, if I knew now, if I knew what I knew now back then, I would have done such and such and such. Things would have came out differently. So we have to impart that wisdom, the wisdom that we have through our experiences and things, to our children, by remembering the things that remembering and taking ourselves back to when we were whatever age they are, and try to recall what happened during those times and how things went, so that we can respond to them with wisdom and love and care, and as they call it, empathy. Have some feeling about, okay, I understand that. Let me speak to that whole situation from where I am now. But now you're having some compassion for them, having some compassion for what they're feeling, because to them at their time, whenever they're feeling that, it's something huge to them. It may be something huge to them, but to us it's like, what? What are you talking about? So a lot of this does require us to slow down still, again, especially with raising kids. We have to slow down what we're saying in our speech to them, and think about what we say before we say it to them. Because a lot of times, as parents, we sometimes blurt things out from our own frustration of whatever happened from the day, or something else that we're thinking about, or from our own bad experiences of whatever it is that they're going through, that they're trying to explain to you, instead of slowing down, having some compassion, listening, which we talked about. I think that was yesterday, which we talked about yesterday, about having good communication. This is one of those things, again, of good communication. So we were talking to you about, that's what prayer is having communication, with God, and so we need to do that with our children and other people in our lives as well. Sometimes people are difficult. I'm going to say that sometimes there are some difficult people, and it's hard to talk to those difficult people. And if you could separate yourself from them, you may have to do that for a little while, until they can come to you in a respectful way, and communicate better, without, cussing, screaming, calling you out your name, all that stuff, things of that sort. And the way for us to deal with that relationship is to pray about it. Pray about the things that we don't understand. One of the things, and another person that we need to pray about, and this is on our outside relationships, because we're talking about relationships, the relationship part of prayer, and is the kid's dad. We need to pray for them. Just because we're not with them anymore, that person, their dad, is a member of your family for the rest of your life. They're a member of your family for the rest of your life. you know um Hopefully it wasn't one of those, it wasn't a traumatic situation of how this person became, the father of your children. Hopefully that wasn't it. And if it was, then obviously there won't be a relationship. But in other cases, you know um you know that person is a part of the kids' lives. Even if they're not there, they're a part of the kids' lives. And we do not always have to address that. We don't have to compensate for that. We don't have to, as single moms, we don't have to compensate for that. We don't have to try to explain it away. We just have to leave it as in prayer, and then if you have a difficult, if your kid's dad is difficult, you have to pray for them, pray for that too, and teach your kids to do the same thing. Hey, he's going through something. Let's pray about that for him to for God to fix whatever's going on in his life that's making him act that way. So this is an opportunity for us to teach our kids how to pray for other people when we teach them how to pray for their dad, um and that's something that I had to do with my kids. Because our relationship didn't work out and he wasn't happy about it. He's going through some things, and what came through me praying, through me praying for him, is that I got an understanding, I got some wisdom through prayer, that and came to an understanding he did not have a dad to show him how to be a dad. So he didn't know how to do it either. Men, when they're scared, it comes off as anger. When they're scared and don't have the answers to things, it comes off as anger. And so I got that understanding through praying for my kid's dad. Excuse me, through praying for my kid's dad, and that was something that I got from praying for him. I didn't understand what was going on. I kept waiting for a change, um, in our relationship, but we just don't. Our personalities don't go together. We have some similar um, ways of raising the kids, ideas and ways of raising the kids, but our personalities don't go together. So we just don't, it doesn't work out. That's the only way that I can explain that, is our personalities don't go together. We weren't on the same page on um how relationships go. uh the way that we became parents, we hardly knew each other. We hardly knew each other. And okay, fine, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell on myself. um I was a little hot to trot back in the day, and I slept around a lot. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm just gonna put it out there. I slept around a lot, and uh the kid's dad was like my stopping point. I stayed with him the longest that I stayed with anybody. I was with him for 7 years trying to work things out, and it just didn't. Um, and I walked away and took the kids with me. And so I walked away, and it just the relationship didn't work out. Um, I understand better about him. I understand better about myself. Um, through that relationship. So I do not regret that relationship in any way whatsoever. I got my beautiful kids out of that relationship. Um, I got an understanding of myself, understand about how men deflect. I got an understanding of that, of deflecting stuff. I got an understanding about how we were attracted. It seems to me, and my understanding is that we were attracted to each other's brokenness, and brokenness doesn't get you anywhere. If he's broken and I'm broken, and we're two broken people try to get together, it's a broken relationship. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that was. And so I got a better understanding for myself. I got a better understanding of some of the things he might be going through. And that all came through me praying for the relationship. I was praying one way when I was in the relationship. And then once I stepped away from the relationship, I understood better and got a better understanding through the different prayers that I started praying for him. Um, then beyond that, we have our parents as well. You know, because this is just how that the ripple goes. We have our parents, and we got to pray for our parents if we still have them, and their understanding also, because they're I don't know about you, but my parents were the older parents out of all my friends. My parents and the girl that I grew up next door to, our parents were the older parents out of all the parents of our friends. Um, so my parents, were very far removed. There was a huge difference between us in age, so it was a huge age gap. Um, and now that I think about it, it's almost the same age gap that I have between my kids. But my parents were taught in a different less technology and all that stuff was going on, and they didn't really adjust to that technology too much. They adjusted a little bit, but not very much. So um, I'm understanding that I'm different than my mom. Yes, I was raised by a single mom, and I said when I was little that I wanted to be like her, and and in some ways I was trying to make myself be like my mother, and then I came to the realization that I'm not. I'm me. I'm not my mother. Yes, I may have some of her ways of doing things, because I see and feel that that's something that I would like to share with my kids. And I do thank God for having my mom, because my mom was very artistic, and she was a teacher. So we went out and adventured out to museums, and she took us on road trips, to the beach, and to the park. We had our birthdays in parks with pools and stuff like that. She ventured out and did some adventurous things with me and my kids. I did take that characteristic on with my kids. So my kids are very adventurous. Um they like to have consistency and some routines and things, but they want to have a little something different every now and then. And I taught them to be that way because I didn't want them to get stuck. I didn't want them to ever get stuck in just being a certain way and never trying anything that was more creative, or something that was new, something that was going to open their minds and and open their creativity and what they can get to. Museums are a great place to do that. I know we're in COVID and everything, but um when things open back up, I'm just hopeful that things will open back up. It may be in a different way. There may be some different rules and regulations, but when things open back up, and even if they don't, you could always take your kids to parks. That's where I took my kids, to parks. I would take them to nature walks, things of that sort, around the neighborhood. We would pick up leaves, and talk about the leaves, and pick, all of that, pine cones, stuff like that. The neighborhood that we live in now, there's ponds and they have ducks. And then when I was in California, there was a park that had ducks. And so, we would go do things of that sort. And that actually opens your children's minds up to curiosity about nature, and about, things of that sort, nature, and new ways of coloring, new coloring tools, Play-Doh, stuff of that sort, if they're that small. Then when they get older, by all means, encourage that creativity in their minds, because that creativity will actually make them more better with relationships if they're more creative because they'll have more of an open mind. So that's something that helps with that is having a creativity and activities and things of that sort that encourage their creativity because that encourages relationships because relationships you have to be creative and relationships you have to have an open mind and allow somebody to be their authentic selves with you. If they have to be feel like they have to be something else with you or around you, then that makes them uncomfortable. um that reflects on them being uncomfortable, then you're uncomfortable. It's one of those things, it's a give and take when you give off something. So allowing people and even your children to be themselves is an important thing in a relationship. So you got to think about your friends and your families and your family, close relatives. I have a lot of friends that have become my family because since my mom and my sister both are passed on, passed away, my friends have become my family. So I have a lot of sisters now. Even though I had just one sibling, I have a lot of sisters now through my friends that I've known, and I'm come to realize that a lot of people do not have friends that they've known for over 30 years. I've got one friend that I've known since I was one. We grew up next door to each other. Mind you, there have sometimes been years where we didn't talk to each other at all, but we can come back and it's like nothing happened. It's like nothing happened. We catch up and whatever else, and it's like nothing happened. And then and praying for her and us being so close and all of one of my group of friends, we all had people that were close to us that died, parents that died, siblings that passed away and died, and died, and we helped each other through it, and those relationships have become tighter, much tighter, and closer, and we check on each other now, and this is a wonderful thing to have that type of relationship where somebody actually checks on you, calls you every now and then, to see how you're doing, just to catch up. And yeah, those conversations tend to be about 4 hours or so, but they're good conversations. And then, we catch up maybe in another month or two, or if something's going on, we'll text each other. Having relationships is an important thing as single moms. And if you don't have any, if it's hard for you to find friends or whatever, just know that in order to have friendships, you have to be friendly. That's not me telling you that you're not friendly. It's just sometimes we don't reach out to people by just saying hello, hi, how are you? Or, if they have kids too, is this your first time here? You know, at the preschool or wherever you take your kids. For a while, I used to have my kids, before COVID, and it's funny that you have to say that now, but before COVID, my kids were in. I had my kids in the city, the community activities because they're less expensive to put your kids in than you going to like a private dance studio or whatever else. It was something that I could do through the community, and it was a lot less expensive. And of course, if you lived in that community and they had their own community thing, then you could get into that. So, in those places, I would speak to the other moms that were there. I have to say that I was a little uncomfortable from time to time because a lot of the moms were married. There was very few single moms in there, but a lot of them were married. And so, to have they'd be there or their husband would show up and pick up the kids, they would drop them off, things of that sort, but still to be able to talk to another mother is a good thing. What a lot of single moms probably didn't know is they also have scholarships and things that they will pay for your children, help you pay for your kids to be a part of any program that you wanted to put them in through the city, through these city recreational, programs. the city recreational departments that are in cities. Of course, if you're in a town, some of the towns don't have that. You may have to go to the next town over. Um, and I happen to be in one of those towns it's a town now, but it's growing really fast. But the town over accepts us as part of them because they're right next to us. And so we can go through their recreational program and we get a lot of their information as well. But these are some things that you want to do for relationships. And so the most important relationships that we have with other people outside of ourselves is going to be our kids. And so you want to always nurture that and always change with those relationships. Um, I know that it's really hard when your kids turn 18 to let them start making their own decisions, but we can be there to support them in whatever it is that they want to do after high school. And hope and you just pray that whatever you poured into them, the wisdom, the knowledge that you put into them when they were children, it's a seed and it will grow as they mature in life. But just know that there's a season that they're going to try new stuff that you're not totally okay with, stuff that you're not okay with, and that you may or may not be aware of, but you know, or you might know something's off. But still love them, let them know you're still there. Even when they make bad decisions, you're still there for them. This is something that our children need to know and something that we need to be um, conscious enough to acknowledge, and don't badger so much, especially when they become 18. When they're 16, it's going to be a back and forth. That's just part of the process. When they turn teenagers, it's going to be a back and forth because they're trying to explore out, and we're still trying to keep them in their little cocoon of the rules and regulations. And we may need to start adjusting some things as they become teenagers, because that's a different phase. They start doing more things at school and games and stuff like that. The football games, basketball games, and they start venturing out and wanting to participate more in some of the school activities, and we have to adjust to that. So just knowing your relationships and our relationships, we need to make adjustments, and we need wisdom in making those adjustments. So again, I would like to encourage you to make that adjustment, and to to get the wisdom. I'm telling you, do this 31-day Proverbs. Read one chapter of Proverbs for 31 days, and I'm telling you, you will gain some wisdom. It's not going to answer everything all at once. There's something you may have to do several times. Um, I do it once a year. And then I'm also thinking about putting that into the Single Moms Academy, and so the Single Moms Academy is going to have a lot more sessions that are happening, a lot more workshops where we're working through things, working through some of these things that are being presented in the challenges, because the challenge is just a short period of time where some information is presented to you for you to take and go and move forward and use that information to make whatever changes you need to make in your life, or to improve your life, as so that we can level up as single moms. And leveling up is just changing a perspective, getting a new perspective, because when you're at a higher height and a higher knowledge and wisdom in something, you can see things more clearly. So that's what Single Moms Level Up is all about, is about changing our perspective. It's about going from just surviving to CEO in every area of our lives through self-care and self-education. The challenges are the self-education part. Of course, the single mom queen kits that I give away in the challenges, that's your self-care, because that's the things on the outside. This year I'm adding something in, or this month, not this year, but this month, I'm adding in something that is for your self-love, and that's the journal with my notes in it, for the journals that I do all the time. for myself. And from the challenge that we did a couple months ago, journaling into your purpose, it will have those notes in there that I use for my journals when I set them up and I start doing things that I'm trying to journal into purpose, whatever my, my purpose is, obviously as a mother, but in every area of my life as well. So if you want to join the Single Moms Academy, it's scrolling down here on the bottom. Just go to the website, bparksdesignllc.com. Go to the Single Moms Academy tab, and it will have all the information for it. That is a membership club. That is a membership, a membership thing. And so there is a fee for that. The Single Moms Club will be free forever. It's never going to have a charge for it, so you can always just come in, watch the challenges, participate in the challenges, take the notes, say hi, do likes, do shares, watch them, invite other single moms to watch them. There's no charge for that. The Single Moms Academy is not for everybody, so don't feel like you have to do it or that it's a requirement. It is not. As if you want to go further with me and some other single moms, where we're going more in depth into the things that we cover through the challenges, and just to have access to all the challenges that get presented through the YouTube channel, Single Moms Level Up, and through the Single Moms Club on a monthly basis. You'll have access to those for 12 months. But anyway, I'm going to say goodbye and good night to you guys. Tomorrow's day 5. Day 5, we're going to talk about money, y'all. We're going to talk about the money. Let's talk about the money. How we need to do something about this money situation that single moms have or don't have. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And I just suggest you be there. So I'm going to say hashtag Single Moms Level Up. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And thank you so much for watching the replays. Thank you to the Single Moms Club and people watching live and watching replays. Thank you to everybody on YouTube on the Single Moms Level Up channel. Thank you for watching the live, or thank you also for watching the replays. Share, like, and do all that good stuff. And let's see everyone tomorrow. So mind you, by the sharing, the liking, and the making comments, that's how this will happen in the Facebook group. I don't know exactly how to check the YouTube page yet. So if you get into the Facebook group, you can request to come into the Facebook group. There are 3 questions that I ask, and I ask that you answer them honestly. It helps me to better serve you single moms as you're in the group. So that would be appreciated. But if you want to win the gifts, you do need to request to come into the Single Moms Club, and there you will be able to participate and put the notes and the likes and the shares as well. And you'll be able to be, to enter to win, by doing that for the Single Moms Kit. And I'll post the Single Moms Kit so you know what's in the Single Moms Kit for this challenge. And these recordings and replays will be up all the way through Tuesday. And after Tuesday, they will come down and be archived to be used over in the Single Moms Academy and for other times of use. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk about that money, y'all. Come in, bring your friends with you, all that. So we'll see you later. Good night. I'm saying good night because it's nighttime here in Texas. So I'm going to say good night and hashtag Single Moms Level Up. Bye.